The data is in, and today we're going to go over Zillow's most recent housing market report, and I'm also going to show you guys what Zillow's recent forecast is saying with home values. And you guys are going to see that once again, just like 2022, Zillow is continuing to revise downward the trajectory of what they believe housing prices are going to go to. Now, obviously, guys, I've showed you countless times how many times Zillow has actually been wrong about their forecasting. And I've also showed you holes in their Zestimate, essentially using whatever is reported on MLS to come up with a Zestimate. So I've showed you all of those things. Nevertheless, we're going to continue to see what Zillow is saying. And I'm going to show you guys that home prices are now starting to finally decline once again. Starting with Zillow's home value forecast for August of 2023. And guys, real quick, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and shoot me a comment below. And understand, I absolutely love you. And what we're doing here is building a real estate mindset community where we all help one another. And hopefully someone will start helping Zillow because they simply cannot get their overly optimistic forecasting correct. Starting with the first paragraph, Zillow's forecast of the nation's typical home value was revised downward this month due to the anticipation of higher mortgage rates and a slight decrease in market tightness. Zillow forecast the National Zillow Home Value Index to rise 4.9% from August 2023 to August of 2024. Now, that is down from last month's prediction of a 6.5% increase from July 2023 to July of 2024. When we visualize Zillow's forecast, first of all, home values broke seasonality around June of 2022 and really plummeted down, as you can see here, until about March of 2023. Now, essentially, Zillow anticipates that home values are still going to go up. And I find this first part right now, guys, really crazy because we're heading into fall and winter months. So according to this chart, home prices are just going to keep going up through the really dark times in real estate. Fall and winter, topped with quantitative tightening, potential back swans. They're like, you know what? We're just going to send it. We're just going to say that home values are just going to keep going up and they're not going to start really plateauing until 2024. Very interesting and I think completely ridiculous. Jumping into the report, home values inch higher in dog days of summer, August 2023 housing market report. You guys can go ahead and access this yourself because, as you know, I link the data in my descriptions. I do that so you can develop your own opinion on what you think is going to happen in the housing market and thus understand what you want to do moving forward. So go ahead and click the link. Check it out for yourself. I'm only going to reference the first two paragraphs of the start of this report. The typical U.S. home value climbed 0.2% from July to August, so month over month, slight increase in value. A market cool down after red hot monthly appreciation in the previous 3 months. The nation's typical home value has reached another all-time high and stands 1.3% higher than last August. After housing market demand and activity peaked for the year in May and June, conditions have loosened in the later phases of summer. Not only did price growth decelerate, but closed sales data from July showed fewer homes selling above their list price. And don't forget, again, as we go into this more turbulent period, Zillow is still saying it's okay. Home values are still going to go up. We just went over that. Zillow is, again, in my opinion, Zillow is actually less than useless. They're actually hurting people at this point, in my opinion. Now, visualizing the Zillow Home Value Index, you can come here yourself, drop down this menu, pick your metro area. Obviously, Zillow doesn't have all metro areas, but right now what they're doing is a summary for the entire United States. And I wanted to bring your attention to 2022. Here we saw home values plummet. Absolutely plummet. And this was not seasonality right here. This broke seasonality. Now, I also want to point out we are starting the plummeting again. Now, obviously, we want to be under the 0% line. According to Zillow, we're not going to make that, but look at the trajectory. How are we not going to make that literally next month, or rather this month? When September comes out, I suspect home values will actually show decline. And again, yet Zillow is saying no, they're going to be going up through the remaining part of this year. How crazy does that sound? I mean, it sounds crazy to me. Comment below. Let me know if you think Zillow is just being overly optimistic once again. And we don't need to visualize the data to see the price decline. Here's what they have to say. Most of the 50 largest metropolitan areas now have higher home values than this time last year, although several saw month over month declines in August. And I highlighted some of these places that saw declines month over month, and it's actually really surprising some of these cities. Home values fell on a monthly basis in 12 of the 50 metro areas, with the largest monthly dips in New Orleans at 1.4%. Then we have our all-star Austin with a month over month decline of 1%, followed by San Antonio. Really surprised San Antonio is above Dallas, but it is what it is. San Antonio at a loss of 0.4% month over month. Denver, surprising, 0.2%, and Dallas, not surprising, at 0.2%. As we go into those fall and winter months, that month over month value is going to keep declining. But let's read this last part. Home values are still down from a year ago. Okay, so they never recovered in 21 major metro areas. Never recovered. Just wanted to point that out, since it seems that mainstream media and these overly optimistic realtors don't want to point that out. Now, Austin is leading the way at negative 11% year over year. That's huge. New Orleans, really surprising, 8.7%. Phoenix, 6.4%. Las Vegas, 6.4%. And San Francisco at a loss of 4.2%. Now, this drop down is pretty cool. This is Zillow Home Value Index, and you guys can either look at year over year or month to month. And I want to look at month over month to show you guys what's happening right now, these are the leading metro areas. I'm really surprised that San Diego's up there. I cannot believe San Diego is number 3 because of the overwhelming unaffordability. But I want to show you guys the bottom of this list. So let me scroll down all the way to the bottom, and we can see how many of these metro areas were actually showing month over month declines. So what wasn't reported was Portland, Minneapolis, Richmond, Salt Lake City, Birmingham, Nashville, Oklahoma City, Washington, D.C., Raleigh, and Seattle, followed by Houston's very close, Kansas City, San Francisco, and Baltimore, also St. Louis. So things are changing, but yet they're not reporting that in their summary paragraphs. But you guys can see here, the month over month decline has already started, and we're in September. They're talking about August. So when I switch this back to year over year, let's see who's on the bottom of the list. And you guys can see all of these metro areas were never able to recover. Charlotte almost recovered at a loss of only 0.3% year over year, as did San Jose and Riverside, Memphis, and Houston. But Houston's still down, according to Zillow, 1.3%. year over year. When we look at new listing data, here's what I want to point out here. Now, this is where we're sitting. Okay, so we're sitting at new listings of 349,000. But what I want to point out is back in 2021, we had 531,000 new listings. The reason I want to point that out is think about how much existing home inventory is on the sidelines. I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of people will sell their house the minute rates drop in the 5%? Understand, not only do we have shadow and hidden inventory, which I'm going to do boots on the ground videos this week to show you guys that, we also have a tremendous amount of existing home inventory that's just sitting there. You guys, the gap of inventory right now is in the hundreds of thousands. So that inventory will flood back into the market again once rates reach about 5% or hardships continue on consumer homeowners. Now, I want to point out that since March of 2022, the trajectory of rental growth, I'm not talking about the prices, has been plummeting downward. And really what we want as consumers is we want the trajectory of rent growth to continue this direction, because we want this under 0%. Under 0% means deflation, not disinflation, deflation, which means prices actually go down. People can't feel any price breaks because technically rent prices haven't deflated overall. We've had disinflation. So this represents massive disinflation, but not deflation yet. And if you're really interested to see what's going on around the nation, just drop down this again and check certain metro areas. Let me show you guys what's going on in Austin. Now you can see Austin is under the 0%. This is what we want to see, but we want to see this on a nationwide basis, not just in Austin. But isn't that beautiful, you guys? Austin, again, since around March of 2022, Austin rent growth has plummeted and is now, as of this year, about June of this year, is now losing and deflating rental prices. This is exactly what we want to see around the nation. That's going to conclude our evening video. I wanted to make it short, and if you guys really want overwhelming value, you really want to keep your fingers to the pulse of the housing market, joining me for my morning live videos that I do at 8:45 a.m. Central Time. I also chapter the videos if you guys want to dig into what we're talking about. For example, this morning we covered so many things like the 10-year, the recessionary indicators like the inversion of the yields, work from home. I touched again on sub-2. We talked about purchasing power and opportunities. We talked about affordability. We even had Jack come on to give us a report about the bond market. You guys, I am trying really hard to help build our community and to have people unify through my live videos, and I really hope to see you there. Now, other than that, if you're out there investing in real estate, you know I wish you luck, and I hope you win.